This is the Mason Movement Podcast. My name is B.
And I'm Jessy.
And today we're talking about something quite interesting.
Yes. So typically you hear about imposter syndrome as an individual. Like maybe you're working towards a new career, like you're expanding into like entrepreneurship, and you're like, it shows up in ways of like, who do I think I am? Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not good enough to do this. Like, yeah. But we're going to talk about how imposter syndrome can like show up in your relationships.
Yeah. So this is like a whole new take, I feel like, on imposter syndrome. I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about this before. And honestly, I haven't really thought about it using this terminology before. So for example, kind of just to like piggyback off of like our last episode, we were talking about like healing and getting into your like empowerment era after emotional abuse. And so like, let's say that like you are on that path, right? And you've gotten out of like that toxic relationship, but now you're in like a healthier relationship and things like aren't abusive and there really aren't any red flags. And you're like, oh my God, is this like an actual like healthy relationship? Like, what do I do here? So you might have some feelings coming up that are like, wait, am I like good enough to be with this person? Like, what, like, have I really like done the work?
Right.
Like,
wait, this person isn't causing like mayhem in my life. Yeah, it can be really confusing.
Could feel a little bored even.
Right. You can feel very bored. We experienced that. It was like, I think both of us were maybe waiting for like the pen to drop at certain times too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, like you're showing up as this like too good to be true situation, but you reframed it really beautifully for I think both of us in the beginning when I was like coming to you and being vulnerable and just like, yeah, this feels too good to be true. And then you responded with, well, I believe this to be good and true.
Oh,
I know, it was pretty cute. And I was like, wow, that totally reshaped the way that I'm like showing up in this and feeling about our relationship.
yeah.
Like, yeah, actually it is good and it is true until somebody proves otherwise.
Yeah. So I feel like this chat is for people that might be like questioning themselves. We talked about that too, like being with people that have like gaslit you, or if you've been in relationships where people show narcissistic traits, and I don't say that very lightly, but it's real and it happens.
I feel like that's like a, what do you call it? Because it's a very trendy buzzword that's kind of thrown around out there.
It is, and I don't use it lightly because I actually have dated someone who qualifies, to be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, like to a T. And it's so ironic because, I'm a marriage and family therapist, like able to have diagnosed people for the past like 8 to 9 years, and really was blind to this person being, fitting all this criteria in my own relationship.
Right.
So I don't say that lightly, but if you've been in a relationship like that, or if you've experienced someone, that has those traits, maybe they're not, diagnosed with it, you come out of that feeling like you can't trust yourself and who you choose maybe for the next time. So that's where the imposter syndrome can come in. Like, even if you have done the work, because like I did do a lot of work actually in a really short amount of time before I met you, I was still questioning like, oh wait, like did I do enough work on myself?
Right.
So
am I ready?
Right. Am I ready? Is this the right thing? So we're here to tell you and remind you that like, trust yourself. Like, you've been through a lot. Like, you've had so many experiences. You have so much wisdom. Like, you got this. And it's okay to like make mistakes. I put that in quotes because truly there are no mistakes. Like, no choice is the wrong choice.
Right.
Mind blown.
Mind blown. Yeah, like this is totally it's all a part of the process, you know, like just piggybacking off of our last episode about talking about, you know, like it takes time. Like, yeah, it takes time when you're in something like healthy and new, and just really goes back to like trusting yourself and loving yourself. Like self-love is at the root of all of this. You know, we keep going back to self-love, but that has
Mm-hmm.
truly been the most transformative piece of the puzzle for both of us.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
That is the root.
Yes.
So let's talk about like some of, I mean, that's like a really big tip, you know, to trust yourself, trust the process. If there aren't like, you know, significant red flags, like you could be potentially getting into something unhealthy again if you haven't like maybe done some really deep work, or you haven't like worked to like resolve those traumas, then like, yeah, of course, like that's going to repeat. Like we're going to live out that karma. It's going to be the same situation, but a different person.
Right.
So be aware of that. But if you're not seeing the red flags and your inner voice is like, okay, this is safe, like trust the process that you're on.
Trust the process, and also know that, you know, like you have the knowledge you have from past experiences, and it's, you know, like if someone decides to, you know, it's really too good to be true in the beginning, and like that person proves that it was too good to be true, like you can walk away from it and just like know that you have this like amazing discernment now for where you're at, and you can totally trust yourself, and like, yeah, you're enough, and with whoever you're with.
Such a great message. And I'm feeling like, you know, before we hopped on to like chat about this, I was feeling a call to like pull from an oracle deck, because I feel like whoever's kind of going through this maybe needs like some guidance from some other energies around us. So we have this beautiful oracle deck.
Yes, if you're watching, you can see it.
It's called Beyond Lemuria. And you want to shuffle? You want me? Okay.
I'll hold your mic.
Okay, there we go. Voodoo's in my lap.
Chivalry isn't dead, guys.
We have these beautiful cards, and let's just pull like one card for anyone across time and space who's listening to this. Whatever message, spirit that they need to hear, whatever wants to come through as guidance. Maybe someone's going through this imposter syndrome in relationships right now. Just allow this message to come through very clearly for them. All right, let's see. Full Spectrum is the name of the card. It's number 26. If you are watching video, I don't know if that's like...
It's going to focus in.
Yeah, I don't know if it's focusing in, but it's really, really beautiful. Maybe describe the card.
Okay, so it looks like this woman and all of her chakras are lit up, and it almost looks to me like a rebirth. Like there's some like skulls in the earth. It looks like she's rising out of it. So it looks like there's a death and a rebirth, which I think is really cool considering the topics that we're talking about.
I think it's so fitting. So it's a really long description of this oracle card, but I'm only going to read a couple of key points. So the first, I think key points are important. This card is all about creating heaven on earth by honoring the perfection of nature's cycles, going beyond the judgment of good and bad. That's really just what we were talking about. Like there are no mistakes. The merging of duality, raw nature, earth wisdom, connecting to ancestors, shadows as fertile soil for exponential growth.
Wow, look at that.
I fucking love that. Yes. The way forward is in the whisperings of the land and honoring the full spectrum of life. Wow, how beautiful. So the divinatory meaning, do you want to read it?
Sure.
Okay.
Read it. All right. Step out of the black and white mentality of judgment. Go beyond the concepts of good and bad. This card invites you to honor the full spectrum of life and find a new way of perceiving your situation. When we judge something, we create a story around it. These stories are often create limitations. Subconsciously, we gather so many of these stories over a lifetime. To heal our disease and crystallize the new way, we need to create a space of no story where miraculous healing can happen. This space empowers us to be all we are and allows us to know our truth.
Wow. Wow. That's
That
fantastic.
was spot on, guys.
Spot on. I feel like no
Yeah.
explanation
No
needed.
explanation needed. Yeah, like just go back and maybe listen to that again
Mm, yeah,
and
and
really
really
feel
like
it.
let it set in all of those codes. Really, really beautiful message. So
Really beautiful.
thank you so much, guardians, guides, ancestors, galactic family of the highest vibration, for providing this beautiful message today.
Yes. And thank you guys for tuning in. If
Mm,
this really resonated with you and you maybe want to go a little deeper, you can reach out to us anytime, themasonmovement.com. And yes, we have our new school that is out and live. It's been live for a few weeks now, and we're just excited for you to come join our community that we're building. There's like-minded people, maybe people you can connect with, people who are going through similar circumstances or situations, and it's just like a really beautiful way to connect.
awesome. So we will see you all there and also see you in the next episode.